2017 Mercedes-Benz E-Class review. If there's any car that could be classified as Mercedes-Benz most important reveal in the year 2016, it is without a doubt the new Mercedes-Benz E-Class. The executive business saloon, an all-time favorite amongst taxi companies, effectively closes the gap between the C-Class and S-Class. The car's importance is highlighted through its impressive 13 million units sold throughout history, as well as the fact that the E-Class isn't uncommon to serve as a true pioneer when it comes to introducing some of Mercedes-Benz's major innovations and new technologies to the world. A browsing session through the Mercedes-Benz E-Class history book shows us that ABS technology was first introduced on the E-Class back in the 1970s. So is Mercedes-Benz BlueTAG technology for passenger cars back in 2006, and let's not forget the very capable 9G-tronic transmission that was first introduced on the 2013 Mercedes-Benz E-Class. We have now arrived at the 10th generation of the Mercedes-Benz E-Class, an E-Class that once again marks the world premiere of a variety of technological advances and innovations. After having been up close and personal with the executive saloon back in December 2015 during an exclusive interior design preview, it is now time to put all its technology to the test and see how it drives. I exchanged the grey and cold winter weather for the likes of a sunny and warm climate that is home to Portugal. Engine, chassis and performance. Let's start out with what we find under the hood powering the new generation Mercedes-Benz E-Class. At launch, both the 4-cylinder E200 and the renewed 4-cylinder E220D are available, with further model variants to be launched later this year. Joining the diesel range in a later stage are the 3.0-liter V6 E350D and a new base model with 150 horsepower, probably badged E200D. The petrol range will be joined by the 4-cylinder E300, 180 kilowatts, 245 horsepower, E350E, 210 kilowatts, 286 horsepower, E400 4MATIC, 245 kilowatts, 333 horsepower, and of course the AMG Performance models. For simplicity's sake, let's focus on the E400 4MATIC variant for now. Currently the most potent E-Class in the lineup and the car that I mostly drove during the event in Portugal. It packs Mercedes-Benz's well-known 3.0-liter V6 petrol engine that produces 333 horsepower and 480 Nm of torque. That's good for a 0 to 100 km per hour in just 5.3 seconds and an electronically limited top speed of 250 km per hour. People familiar with this particular engine will probably know it from the C450 AMG, the car where it made a name for itself, arguably outperforming its bigger V8 sibling in certain situations. Despite the difference in power and cylinders, the lighter V6 often showed to improve the car's handling capabilities in comparison to the brutal RWD V8. Its sound might just be the best 6-cylinder you'll ever hear, with the tailpipes constantly spitting crackles and giving the car that extra sporty feel. What amazed me were the loud bangs from the exhaust that kicked in when letting go of the throttle between 3,000 and 4,000 RPM, where you'd have to push the C450 AMG well beyond 4,500 RPM to experience the same effect. Paired with the 9G-tronic automatic transmission, the E400 4MATIC is fit to be driven both efficiently and dynamically. In Sport Plus mode, the competent 9-speed gearbox enables fast gear changes at high revs, while in Eco mode the transmission allows for low revs, benefiting the car's fuel economy. The 9G-tronic 9-speed automatic transmission comes standard with every 2017 Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Comfort is key in this segment, and the Mercedes-Benz E-Class has had that nailed since the very beginning. The executive saloon comes with a steel suspension as standard, with 3 selective damping configurations available as options. The standard suspension setup includes a 4-link front axle suspension with coil springs, gas pressure shock absorbers and a stabilizer. At the rear axle there is a 5-link multi-link suspension sharing the same features. To the selective damping options belong the Agility Control suspension with comfort tuning, Agility Control suspension that is lowered by 15 mm, this comes with the avant-garde exterior spec, and Dynamic Body Control Sports suspension with adaptive damping. As an alternative, customers are offered the Air Body Control multi-chamber air suspension, a suspension setup that is reserved for just the E-Class and the executive saloon segment. The multi-chamber air suspension features 3 different sized chambers in the spring struts of the rear axle and 2 chambers in the spring struts of the front axle, determining the stiffness of the suspension depending on the driving situation. This translates to soft and basic suspension at lower speeds and relaxed driving, and stiffer suspension increasing handling stability when driving dynamically or at higher speeds. Controlling the ride height depending on speed. Another advantage that comes with this suspension setup is the save of fuel. On the motorway the ride height will be automatically lowered, although a simple push of a button can increase ride height at any given moment. Similar to many other Mercedes-Benz models, Dynamic Select lets drivers customize the suspension setup in individual mode. Having tried a variety of driving modes using the Dynamic Select switch, driving comfort always remains right at the heart. Even with Sport Plus mode engaged, the hardened suspension does not detract from all-around driving comfort, design and interior. From a visual standpoint, the new Mercedes-Benz E-Class is unmistakably a true Benz. The design language hints at an evolution rather than a revolution, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The sharp lines that run from the front to the rear of the saloon make the car appear less bulky than its predecessor. Contributing to the latter is the car's overall length that is increased by 43 mm, while the wheelbase length has grown by 65 mm. This results in more space for the rear seat passengers, but takes away 10 liters of luggage space in the boot. The front is where the new E-Class truly maintained its character. The double eyebrow LEDs that characterize the previous generation E-Class remain in place and are complemented by multi-beam LED technology. Depending on the selected exterior package, the car features its traditional star on top of the hood as standard, and with the exclusive package, the Avant-Garde and AMG line packages carry the larger star in the front grille, giving the car a slightly more aggressive look. At the rear is where the E-Class design moved closer to its siblings, the C and S Class. The taillights receive the same design treatment, and therefore it will be tough to differentiate the rear end of the E-Class from the aforementioned saloons. At night it will be easier to distinguish it from its siblings. The ones that pay close attention will see the Stardust LED taillights have a different and fresher look to them. The interior is where a real revolution took place. I reviewed the interior quite extensively late last year. Be sure to check it out for more detail. Highlights of the new interior include a heavily redesigned instrument panel, dashboard, sound system, seats and all-around styling. The interior received so many upgrades and extra features that you just want to take a seat for 30 minutes or so and check out the space you find yourself in. Open the door and your eyes are immediately drawn to the large glass panel that covers two 12.3-inch screens that make up the car's instrument panel and infotainment display. It's optional, but if there's one option box that I would check on the list, it has to be this one. Customers that aren't ready for this degree of digitization can stick with a standard instrument panel, saving €2,200 in the process. The high-res screens are fully configurable in the car's extensive menu, letting you determine the positioning and style of certain information. Following the line along the dashboard, there is the optional implementation of high-end materials such as yachting wood, veneer and a variety of leather stitching. The mid-console features the well-known menu control button with implemented handwriting function. Moving slightly up to the center dashboard, we find the 4 vents that were previously just reserved for the S-Class. Taking a look around the car's high-end interior, it seems like it's not just the cars we're in that moved closer to the likes of the S-Class. If selected, the seat configuration buttons in the door are joined by the distinctive Burmester speakers. The 23-speaker 3D Burmester surround sound system is something special and first introduced on the 2017 E-Class. I quote a Burmester sound expert that was on site during the exclusive interior design preview I attended last year. The new Burmester 3D sound system is superior to that of both the current S-Class and Maybach models. To go with the updated sound system is the 64-color ambient lighting scheme that accentuates all vital interior design lines, from the doors along the dashboard to the mid-console. Among the highlights are also the finger touch pads on the steering wheel, letting the driver browse through the menu and settings without having to take hands off the wheel and keeping eyes focused on the road ahead. Let's not forget the seats, which are sculptured to comfort both driver and passengers for both long journeys and the occasional dynamic driving. Customers can choose between 4 different types of seats that optionally contain active side bolsters, seat air conditioning and a 3-piece backrest. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class has set the benchmark in the executive saloon segment in terms of interior quality and comfort for many years, but I think the Mercedes interior design team have really outdone themselves this time. It's innovative, tasteful and elegant, but at the same time not overdone. They really managed to perpetuate the car's established interior design standard. I would therefore be very much surprised if any of the car's competitors would come even close to matching the interior of the new E-Class. Tech and autonomous driving. It only seems appropriate to devote a separate part of the review to the car's technology, innovation and safety systems. Next generation intelligent drive is the phrase that the E-Class is marketed fault with. So let's have a detailed look at the car's autonomous driving features. To enhance safety, the E-Class is fitted with the latest autonomous braking technology as standard. It is able to warn the driver of impending collisions, provide interior support whilst engaging the emergency brakes and brake autonomously if needed. Having seen this put to practice makes for an interesting experience. An instructor demonstrated the safety features on the Estoril track in Portugal, driving 90 km/h when a robotized car appeared out of nowhere, forcing the car to autonomously brake to a standstill without lifting his foot off the gas pedal. At the same time, the active side bolsters squeeze your body together while the active seat belts restrain you even further, keeping passengers and driver in place in case of an accident. Besides autonomously braking, the E-Class can also calculate based upon the other car's speed whether the brakes should be engaged. This too makes for interesting situations, where sometimes the car would brake minimally or not brake at all to avoid collision at both the front and rear end of the car. Additional assistance systems that come standard are the Attention Assist with adjustable sensitivity, which will warn the driver in case of inattention or passivity. The third standard assistance system is the Crosswind Assist, which effectively reduces the impact of strong crosswinds and prevents the car from going off track. By far the most exciting autonomous driving features are optional with the driving assistance package, making the E-Class the most intelligent saloon in its class. Drive Pilot is the center of attention and a first on a Mercedes-Benz model. The system incorporates Mercedes Distronic Plus adaptive control as well as a steering pilot, making relaxed motorway driving easier than ever before. What's more is a speed limit pilot sub-function that comes with a command online package, actively recognizing speed limits and adjusting the Drive Pilot accordingly. Mix in the auto lane change feature, and the car could in theory operate without a driver if it weren't for the frequent moments the driver needs to touch the steering wheel to let the car know that a human was present. Another new feature is the remote parking pilot, enabling customers to summon the vehicle in and out of a parking spot or garage using a smartphone application. New steps have also been made in the process of Car2X communication, a network Mercedes-Benz first set up back in 2013. It comprises of mobile phone-supported exchange of information with other vehicles that are further up the road. Effectively, the system will warn drivers to see around corners or through obstacles in advance. For example, if a car just around a bend is broken down and poses imminent danger. In addition to the driving assistance package, a Driving Assistance Package Plus is offered that includes Pre-Safe Impulse Side, a system that moves the driver or front passenger away from the danger zone when a lateral collision is imminent. This goes together with Pre-Safe Sound, a system that is able to trigger a human's natural reflex using a signal and thus prepare the occupant's ears for the expected sound of a collision. Last item on the tech list is the Digital Vehicle Key, technology that allows drivers to unlock their car using a smartphone. Driving experience. The setting of this event was the beautiful and sunny coastline of Portugal. The roads are quiet, of decent quality and allow for a fair share of dynamic driving. After my arrival in Lisbon and a short shuttle ride to the heart of Lisbon, a white Mercedes-Benz E220D was waiting for me. With the navigation set to the racing circuit of Estoril, west of Lisbon, a relaxed highway drive provided me with plenty of opportunity to test out the car's autonomous drive pilot, one of the many features I was eager to put to the test.